and it would remain the most catastrophic accident in racing history. A little fun fact about this event is that the organisers wouldn't allow the race to stop. They'd ensure that the drivers kept competing.
What? Bruh, what? One racer literally just died, and then 80 other people just died right after that. And you talking about continue? Man, y'all, them boys was out of their minds back then.
Ain't never seen tears from a gangster, so why do it want me to cry?
The most painful car accident deaths ever. Man, I remember when I got into my first lethal car accident. Bro, when I tell you that my car got folded, I couldn't believe what I went through, man. But ever since then, I've been good. You know, I didn't have no external trauma or internal trauma, I should say, from that happening to me. And I'm still alive, you know what I'm saying? Thank God for that. Now, let's go ahead and dive right into this. But before we do that, alright, before we hop into this video, guys, I just wanted to let you all know that I am doing a 30 for 30 day challenge. Now, basically what that is, for the next 30 days, I'm posting a video every single day. Now, one day is gonna be missed. We posting a video every single day. You feel me? Now look, if there is a video that you have that you want me to react to or anything like that, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and follow me on Instagram. That's all you have to do. You ain't gotta do nothing else. And also, if you want to be able to support, like the videos, man. Push my videos out there. The whole purpose of this challenge is to basically challenge myself and to grow my channel, of course. Right now we're currently at 122 subscribers. I'm highly interested to see where we gonna be at the end of the month, you feel me? After posting every single day straight for 30 days. So look, you want to support the channel, be sure to subscribe and be sure to like the video. That's all I ask for. Now we can hop right back into it.
Drive for this 28-year-old man in Ohio. The sky was clear, the roads were stretched out like any other time, and for him, his morning had officially started. The only thing left for him to do was to get some breakfast. So he'd stop by a store to grab some donuts and coffee before taking off for work. And just like that, his morning was entirely complete. The man was sipping a coffee in one hand and biting a donut in the other. For him,
man, Dunkin' Donuts, I don't know, they 50-50 on whether or not they hit for you or not. You know what I'm saying? It's, I don't know, man. I definitely prefer Krispy Kreme over them, though. For sure.
things really couldn't get any better than this, but somewhere between the first sip and the next bite, everything went sideways. Literally.
You know what would make this day better? Some music. Hey Siri, play some Diddy.
Now playing Demi Lovato.
That is bruh, that is crazy.
What? No. I said play Diddy, Puff Daddy?
Now playing Yeet.
Yeah.
I'll just do it myself.
Even Siri knows that you want some bullshit, man.
While eating his donut, it'd slip out of his hands and knock over his coffee. In a panic to stop the spilling, he quickly reached for the beverage to steady it, and just like that, in a split second, his car veered left to the opposite lane of traffic. I forgot to mention that this was all occurring in the middle of the highway, on an extremely busy Wednesday morning, and unfortunately, at 50 to 60 miles per hour, that's all it takes. His vehicle cut across the lane and slammed head-on into two westbound cars, completely flattening one in the process. The impact was violent enough to leave 3 vehicles completely mangled and scatter their debris across the field of the road like an explosion. Witnesses said it was chaos. One driver was trapped inside their vehicle with crushed metal pinning them in place, while first responders worked frantically to cut them free. As for the flattened car, it sat in the ditch with its airbags blown out, windshield shattered, and frame completely crushed. When paramedics arrived at the scene, they worked desperately to extract the victims from the wreckage. They would even try to bring out the body in the flattened vehicle, and to their sheer horror, the victim was still alive. The crews would immediately transfer...
Bro, a car accident has to be one of the worst ways to go out, because you're not even guaranteed to die on impact, depending on how you crash. You might have to feel and endure that in your last moments before you pass. RIP to anybody that has lost anybody to a car accident, bro. And I pray that none of y'all have to experience that a day in your life. Real talk.
Both individuals to the University Hospital's Gyoga Medical Center, while a third refused further treatment. To everyone's total shock, all the victims in this accident survived with no life-threatening injuries. The man responsible was quickly identified and questioned. His rambunctious craving for donuts and coffee on the highway had turned a quiet Ohio road into a disaster scene. Police instantly cited him on the spot. Sometimes it's not speed or weather or a drunk driver that causes the crash. Sometimes it can simply just be a donut, so don't drive while distracted. 35. Honestly, this one was a little too depressing, so I decided to take it out. Instead, for this incident, you can just look at this cute rabbit for a bit. Hell Train. It was the evening rush on February 3rd, 2015 in Valhalla, New York. Commuters boarded the Metro North train that was headed for the suburbs after a long day in Manhattan.
Is that
At the
Corey
same time, a 49-year-old mother from Edgemont was behind the wheel of her Mercedes SUV. She had just left work and was cutting through unfamiliar back roads due to an earlier accident on the highway. She approached the Commerce Street crossing, a dangerous grade-level track where warning lights flashed and gates descended. But instead of stopping, as you might have already guessed,
Speaking of Corey Kenshin, before we get sidetracked, by the way, he just posted a video. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all are already aware of that. You know what I'm saying? But it's good to know that he is, doing good despite all the bullshit that everybody was trying to throw on him. Anyway.
he ended up in the worst place possible, the tracks. Like any other normal person, you'd think that she would reverse her car out of harm's way, right? Well, you'd be wrong. Instead, she drove forward, accidentally stopping on the rails as the crossing gate came down behind her, pinning her vehicle into one place. She panicked quickly, trying to find an escape, but without a second to react, headlights pierced the dark.
Are those rails that strong? Because I promise you, I would be gassing my car to get out of there. Like, I'm talking about mashing the gas. I'm not about to go out like that. You know what I'm saying? One of my neighbors, you know what I'm saying? Not going to disclose who they are, but they had a train accident with the car. Like, their car being on the train tracks, and they was on a train accident. And thankfully, they both ended up surviving and all that. But like, when I seen it on the news, like, it was lethal. And it was a truck too. It ripped like the whole back end off the truck. They doing good now. They all doing all right. You know what I'm saying? And same thing with everybody involved in the vehicle. They all still alive and doing okay.
The Metro North train, carrying hundreds of passengers, slammed into her SUV
speeding
with
across
catastrophic
wanted
force.
it to.
The impact drove the 5,000-pound vehicle nearly 1,000 feet up the tracks before ripping it apart. But that's only the beginning of what made this situation so terrible. When the train impacted her car, the rails snapped off the ground and speared through her SUV, right into the train's passengers. These rails would shoot up from the floor and send fire and sparks exploding onto the passengers. The first carriage...
Is it that lethal? If anything, I would have thought the train would have been alright. If anything. Dang.
completely erupted into flames as metal debris tore through windows and seats like shrapnel. At the rear of the train, riders only felt a slight bump, but up at the front, it was a pure nightmare.
So it sounds like if I were to ever ride a train, I want to be riding in either the middle carts or the back carts. Not riding in the front, man.
Smoke filled the cars, people screamed, and sections of rail shot through the cabin like burning javelins. People desperately clawed at jammed doors, but the heat was unbearable and too suffocating. The smell of burning seats, fuel, and flesh is all that survivors could remember when trying to escape. The scene was described as literal hell on a train. When the fire finally died down, 6 people were gone and 15 others were severely injured. The SUV was obliterated, and the train was left mangled and scarred by the flames. This remains the deadliest crash in Metro North Railroad's history, and the moral is as simple as it is brutal. When you're on the road, always be attentive and learn to react quickly. Most of the time, roads are actually pretty boring, And honestly, they don't really have crazy things like this happening all the time, but in the rare case you end up in a situation like this, be prepared and always act fast. Guillotine. The stands were packed. Families, fans and journalists gathered shoulder to shoulder, watching the 24 hours of Le Mans. Cars from Mercedes, Jaguar and Ferrari screamed down the straightaways, pushing limits that the track itself had never been designed to handle. Then came lap 35. Mike Hawthorne darted toward the pits, braking hard in front of the Austin Healey driver. Macklin swerved to avoid him, but in doing so, he moved directly into the path of Pierre Levey, who was going at over 120 miles per hour. What happened next was unfortunately pure carnage. Levey's car struck Macklin's rear end and was launched into the air like a missile. The man's car literally started flying, and of course, it'd be aimed at nothing other than tightly packed crowds of bystanders enjoying their favorite cars.
Bro, it's all fine. This is Final Destination all over again.
Racing on the track. The Mercedes would smash into the spectator in front of the grandstand, and on impact it would immediately disintegrate. The car's heaviest components like the engine block, suspension and radiator tore free and hurled into the crowd with the force of artillery shells, obliterating dozens on impact. However, the worst part was the hood. It was sharp, silver, and launched out of the car the fastest, making it form a spinning motion like a saw blade. The hood would fly into the crowd and sever the heads of multiple spectators watching in the stands. Survivors would later describe this scene as the hood decapitating tightly jammed spectators like a guillotine. By the time the smoke cleared, at least 82 people were gone and hundreds more were injured.
Bro, one car erased 80 people off the map. Just like that from this one incident. First of all, where are the what is it? Because last time I checked, whenever you go to a NASCAR race or anything like that, they usually have the gate, the fence to cover everything so you're not impacted like that. Unless bro's car literally flew high enough to where it could just go over that. Jeez.
This event would later on become known as the 1955 Le Mans disaster.
Despite all this Final Destination activity going on right here, I do want to eventually go to a NASCAR race. You know what I'm saying? I heard they be going for like 20 laps. I don't think it's that much. I really think it's around probably like 10 or something like that.
And it would remain the most catastrophic accident in racing history. A little fun fact about this event is that the organizers wouldn't allow the race to stop. They'd ensure that the drivers kept competing.
What? Bruh, what? One racer literally just died, and then 80 other people just died right after that. And you talking about continue? Man, it was, y'all, them boys was out of their minds back then.
So that the venue didn't ensue into a mass panic and block medical responders from being able to...
Yeah, we don't want everyone to go in a panic, even though 25% of the crowd just got bodied by car parts. Yeah, let's keep that rolling. You know what I'm saying? They'll overlook it. I guarantee you they won't pay it no mind.
This event would be so shocking to the world at the time that multiple countries across Europe banned motorsports altogether until safety standards could be improved. No matter how exciting or important something feels in the moment, it's never worth risking lives by ignoring safety. One bad decision can hurt not just you, but everyone around you. Don't speed, don't be distracted while driving, and always drive safely. With that being said, have a happy day.
Yeah, pay attention on the road. Seriously.
Ain't never seen tears from a gangster, so why the world want me to cry? Fighting depression, talk to them spirits, use them judges that help me get by. But I cannot lie, yeah, that shit hurt me bad when I got that call, told me you died. Like how the fuck can they take you? Man, I hope I wake up, it's a lie. Couldn't walk to that hearse, cause I remember the words and I remember the look in your eyes.